then again, in past years, The Undertaker and Limp Bizkit really didn't have a fitting alignment, and it all panned out for the biker image that he had in 2000, from 2000 to 2006, or when was that match with Vince McMahon done? 2003 it was. From 2000 to 2003 for 3 years. For the better part of that. I think that the whole promo is just phenomenal, but who it's attached to, it's kind of up in the air right now. If you're a fan of The Undertaker, obviously you're saying finally they're bringing The Undertaker in for WrestleMania. If you're a fan of Sting and you've read the reports that he signed a one-year deal with the company, obviously this is going to be, the way they're bringing him in to be the guy who faces The Undertaker at WrestleMania. This year alone, The Undertaker has had 6 or 7 eligible opponents that he could be facing at WrestleMania, because for people like Sheamus, for people like John Morrison, for people like even Sting, for people like Triple H, who have no involvement right now at WrestleMania, the obvious place for them to be is in the Money in the Bank. But the Money in the Bank match really doesn't need to be done this year at WrestleMania, because the Money in the Bank has its own pay-per-view. So it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense in a lot of ways, but I can see it happening. I can see the Undertaker Sting match being done, but it being ruined like every other dream match that WWE have tried to do. And a perfect example of that, like I alluded to earlier in this week's audio commentary, is the Goldberg Rock match they did for the one pay-per-view in 2003, which was absolutely ruined and absolutely had no place or no business being done in WWE. A lot of the dream matches should have been done in WCW. They could have easily worked together. They could have easily cross-promoted the two companies, but with the mutual hatred that WWE and WCW had in past years, from 1985 right up until 2001 when the company folded, I think they had too much mutual hatred, and Vince McMahon really just wanted to kill Eric Bischoff on a lot of different times, so they really didn't want to do the whole cross-promotion thing. And, I think that if the Undertaker-Sting match is definitely the match that the Undertaker has at WrestleMania, Sting is the fitting guy to give the Undertaker the run for his money and end the Undertaker streak at WrestleMania for the past 17 or 18 years. Obviously, it's somebody huge, whoever they're bringing in. It's somebody equally as huge as this year's WrestleMania guest host. So, obviously, it's somebody huge. The promo is absolutely phenomenal. The Johnny Cash song has been used in Undertaker promos before, so the Undertaker is obviously the logical solution to who it is, or the logical answer. And if you're a hardcore Undertaker fan, immediately when you saw that promo, you thought it was The Undertaker. But something that needs to be talked about, something that needs to be said for this week's audio commentary is The Undertaker is a guy who you're never going to see have a full, a permanent run ever again with the company. He's just going to be someone who's brought in for major pay-per-views, and that's it. He's going to be used at your staple pay-per-views like the Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and again at Survivor Series. He's never going to have a lengthy run with the company ever again. And if he does have a lengthy run with the company, I don't see it lasting. If he comes in for 5 months and then he's gone again, that'll be it for him. But I really don't think that you're ever going to see him have a lengthy run with the company. He's virtually wrestled everybody. He's virtually beat everybody there is to beat. He's held the championship a significant amount of times. He doesn't need the WWE or World title. And the runs that he's had with the championship were absolutely pointless, and they didn't need to be done. The programs that he came in and worked with CM Punk and other wrestlers of that nature didn't need to be done. He didn't need to be booked in those programs to help the younger talent and the younger crop of wrestlers get over. They were pointless, they were stupid, they were everything in the book that is associated with rottenness. So I just don't see it, happening for The Undertaker ever again. He's had his prime. We've saw him in his prime from the better part of 91 to 2000. He had a phenomenal run with the company, so that was his last run. From, I'd say, 96 to 2000, that was when The Undertaker's best years were done, and I just don't see it. I just don't see him having a full length run with the company. It doesn't sound logic. It doesn't seem the right way for The Undertaker to do. He needs to be involved with the staple pay-per-views since they've been around for over 20 years. He needs to be involved for Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. He doesn't need to be a Backlash or Judgment Day or whatever the hell they're calling the pay-per-views now. So I just don't see it happening for him, but I see him being involved at this year's WrestleMania, so obviously the promos could be attached to The Undertaker, and if they're not attached to The Undertaker, they're definitely attached to Sting. Even though Sting has said on YouTube, he said in interviews for TNA, even though his run with TNA was absolutely stupid. I had an independent wrestler on earlier this year who said his run with TNA was absolutely rotten and washed up. And in some light, it probably was, and in another perspective, it probably was done for a reason. Because Sting, at that particular point in time, didn't want to work for WWE, and he said in interviews time and time again, I'll never work for Vince McMahon. So for whatever reason he's going through now, he must have a good one for doing it. He's probably going to sign with WWE just for the fact of getting into the Hall of Fame. If he works for WWE for a year and then gets his Hall of Fame induction, then gets out of it, and is never heard from ever again, he's a smart man. And so would Booker T, and so would Kevin Nash, who are also eligible, the ballots for this year's Hall of Fame as well. They haven't announced anybody eligible other than Shawn Michaels for this year's Hall of Fame. So obviously, if Booker T, Kevin Nash, and Sting get in there and get their Hall of Fame inductions and then get out of it and they're never heard from ever again, and obviously, it was a perfect plot on their part, but other than The Undertaker or Sting, I really don't see who the promos could be applying to. Someone like The Undertaker falls into the same category as a Bret Hart or an Edge or Shawn Michaels, who have done things and really don't need to be around and are hanging around for only God knows why reasons. So I just don't see it really panning out for someone like The Undertaker having a full-length run with the company ever again. And like I said, if Kelly can retire and go out as a winner, definitely The Undertaker can. If people in the past have retired and gone out as winners, The Undertaker definitely falls in that same category, who deserves to go out as a winner. And I want to go on record for saying it for this week's audio commentary. Whoever the promos apply to, this is definitely one of the best promos since the Undertaker casket promo that was done in '94. It is up there with one of the greatest promos of all time because it leaves you on the edge of your seat, and most definitely it leaves you wondering as to who it could be and who it is. If I were to say who it is, The Undertaker and Sting would be a good guess. But who I'm going to say it is, or who I have already said it is, in this week's audio commentary is only a guess, because I don't know who it is. I do know WWE have contracted several WCW superstars to work on DVD projects for 2011, and with this year's 2011 DVD lineup, it could honestly be anyone. So it's kind of up in the air, and your guess is as good as mine. But definitely it is one of the best promos since '94. I will say that. You have been listening to HEW Entertainment Variety Radio. I'm Jonathan Clarke, and I would like to thank you so much for making HEW Entertainment the success you have made it over the last number of years. Feel free to access a number of different features that this website offers, including the weekly poll, our fantasy section, HEW Wrestling Network, the alumni section, which features a collection of names or people I have worked with for the better part of '99 right up until 2011, the present time. Feel free to download a copy of our press release, which can be accessed through our website. Check out our text column, which has become absolutely popular and a tremendous success over the number of years it's been around and available. And be sure to check us out next week when I once again talk about anything that could be going on in professional wrestling at that particular point in time. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again next week.
Though grown-ups might look at him with